Chapter 37. Death. We return to the theater of operations. 100 or so of us hover in camouflage mode in the streets of Dome 9. The buildings are dilapidated, the roads broken up. Soon we reach our destination. The mechanical dump is an ideal place for our ambush. The piles of scrap metal offer us every conceivable hiding place. Everyone knows what they have to do and takes up their positions near the entrance to the secret complex. The entrance to the complex looks like a modest hangar. The aim is to destroy the essential components of this structure, momentarily paralyzing enemy communications. The security systems are easily disconnected, and we now descend the shaft revealed by the opening of the upper hatch. There are 4 of us. Big Bill goes first, with difficulty, due to his imposing stature. We're now in the first basement, at the junction of 2 corridors. In the guise of shadows, we dart into the one opposite us. No noise, no contact with the ground, no perceptible breath. Our approach to the generators must be as unobtrusive as possible. My internal sonars keep me informed of all movements in a 400-meter sector around us. So far, nothing to report. 4 sections down, we turn right. A cul-de-sac conceals access to the complex's energy sources. I approach the wall and pierce it with a laser stylus implanted in my hand. The micro-orifice thus obtained enables us to use an approximate version of teleportation to rematerialize myself in front of the base's generators. Phase 2, reveal yourself. I trigger the failure of my camouflage device. Sparks crackle around me as my image rematerializes in places. I extract from my body the explosive charges designed to destroy the complex, set them off and throw them to the ground. In 4 minutes, they should explode. Outside, discreetly, a member of our small group installs an invisible charge 4 times more powerful against a wall. As expected, the alarms go off. Sirens wail. Strobe lights come on. The other 3 men, still outside, radio me to get out of here as quickly as possible. Get back. The wall's going to explode. My hand sends out a powerful ball of energy that shatters the wall in front of me. I now have the same functions and power as Gabriel. Elsewhere, at the same moment, my attack does not go unnoticed. Caleb is quickly informed of my attack. Clearly, he'll be joining me soon. Here, my radar alerts me. Our enemies are coming from all sides. I pass through the flames and call on my companions to follow. As we approach the first crossroads, we hear metallic thuds. I leap forward and find myself facing 2 groups of men rushing towards us. My new fighting skills are the result of my brother's improved techniques. I strike back quickly and effectively. I switch to overspeed mode. I send out 2 vibratory waves. The impact literally blows away the nearest men. At the next intersection, a squad greets us with heavy fire. I quickly neutralize the deadly plasma beams, protecting my men at the same time. In the palm of my left hand, I create a micro-black hole. The whole building begins to shake and the walls crack in places. Opposing bursts die in my palm. I immediately dissolve the universal force and destroy the military barrage with a wave of my hand. Behind me, a cry rings out. Big Bill has been caught. I turn back. He looks badly wounded. From his back flows a stream of physiological fluid. A feeding artery directly connected to his brain has just been severed. Disconnect. We're going to carry you, I tell him, annihilating those who have reached him. Big Bill collapses and faints. I order his teammates to evacuate him while I cover them. My 3-dimensional radars measure the danger and locate the enemy. Any attempt by the enemy to approach and fire is quickly brought under control. The enemy is routed. His reinforcements, called in large numbers, are also eliminated. We make spectacular progress across the field. We arrive at the exit shaft. The narrowness of the passage and Gros-Bill's condition are likely to slow us down too much. Just a few more seconds and the complex should explode. I fire a massive salvo upwards. The ceiling, the conduit and part of the hangar are ripped open. The resulting breach is at least 2 meters in diameter. I order my companions to rush in. Their power of levitation is insufficient, given the inert weight of 220 kilograms they have to carry. An impulse from me and they're out. I look back. I telepathically speed up the countdown. The sound of the explosion is deafening. The lights go out, quickly replaced by the red flash of flames. We emerge from the hangar. A dozen military vehicles greet us. The spotlights on us make us ideal targets. Caleb's grim face emerges from the turret of one of the vehicles. "Surrender, Nathan, or you'll die." I point at him. "No, you're the one who's going to give yourself up." A heavy silence falls over us. I raise my arm slowly and then let it fall back in one swift movement. This signal will trigger the trap that will close on this assassin and his acolytes. The beast will die. The silence grows even heavier. Nothing happens. Not a movement. I stare in all directions, gripped by a sudden anguish. Caleb starts laughing, takes the severed head of one of my companions out of his turret and throws it at my feet. His face is full of terror. His hair is bloodied. I look up at Caleb in horror. He taunts me, saying, "Were you counting on them to get you out of there?" He exults and lets out a sarcastic laugh. My fists clench and my jaws tighten. Presumably, he knew about our plan all along. We've been betrayed. After another sneer, he orders his men to fire. Thousands of bullets come at me. I can't flee or I'll expose my companions to this savage attack. I must protect them. I don't know how to get out of this situation. I try to think quickly and efficiently. What can I do? My power is at its limit. Time. My energy reserves are not infinite. But I realize that I'm Caleb's favorite target. His hatred for me is such that he can't seem to see my men anymore. Our only hope may therefore lie in escape. I need to focus the attack on me. I take off. My defense system is at maximum strength and can withstand the bursts without faltering. I suddenly find myself in the same position as my father 15 years ago. I retaliate with a burst of plasma. 40 meters below, my enemies take my counterattack without flinching. I have to change tactics. I don't want to perish like my father. In his and my brother's name, I'm going to destroy them. I switch back to overspeed mode. My speed increases exponentially. I swerve to the right and hurl myself at the enemy with all my rage. In a nanosecond, I rip through armor, force fields and bodies that stand in my way. My perfect mastery of the atom and universal forces make me a formidable weapon. The damage sustained by our adversaries is enormous, leaving the army bled dry. Explosions follow one another and flames tint the discharge purple and gold. A few survivors scream their way out of the incandescent carcasses. Dislocated bodies stagger or crawl on the earth soaked with fuel escaping from the guts of the gutted machines. Caleb tries to flee. I catch up with him and give him a heavy blow on the skull. He rolls to the ground. I plant myself in front of him. He gets to his feet. The blow barely stunned him. Despite the failure of my capture, he gives me an arrogant look. He braces himself, ready to fight. However, I tell him, "I'll come straight to the point, Caleb. I'm going to make you suffer horribly." Suddenly, his arrogant air disappears. He's realized that I'm determined to get it over with, fast. He pounces on me like a wild beast. I intercept him with a powerful kick. He absorbs a multitude of shocks in a microsecond and rises 5 meters above me. His clothes shatter, his flesh tears. Finally, he collapses. His famous 3/4 length black leather suit is in tatters. Smoke and sparks billow from his body. Liquids drip from his entrails. He drops to his knees and brings his hand to his stomach. Then he slowly raises his head in my direction. From the inside of my wrist protrudes a metal rod with a neural connection at the end. I approach him. He's on all fours, at my mercy. He opens his eyes wide. Frozen, he seems to be waiting for the coup de grace. With a swift, precise movement, I plant the probe in his brain, deploying it to control his every impulse. He starts to scream. His body tenses, twists and jerks. I activate the program, inflicting a succession of unbearable pains. His armor's anesthetic systems have been disconnected. Kaleb screams. I withdraw my arm. The implanted probe is autonomous and will explode in his skull within half an hour. No one will be able to come to his rescue. I abandon him to his suffering. Happy to have avenged those I love. I'm off to pick up the 3 survivors in my group. We must leave as soon as possible. I leave the scene, drunk with a sense of victory. Calm too, strangely enough, even though I've just tortured a man. But I sacrificed a commando to satisfy my revenge. I no longer recognize myself. Here I am, torn between shame and satisfaction at having killed the man who caused me so much pain.